Hey there, this is another great in-depth prep course look brought to you by testprepstore.com. No matter what test you're preparing for, we do everything possible to make your test prep search as easy and informative as possible. With our expansive product database and key comparison pages, discover every great option there is when it comes to prep courses, private tutoring, study guides, and much more across all tests. To keep this great resource available to all future test takers, please remember to utilize our links at testprepstore.com to make your test prep purchase, and be sure to utilize our social media buttons to like and share our website and featured products with your friends and family. They might be searching for a test prep just like you. Also, be sure and get your questions answered by industry experts within our forums.
In this tutorial video, we're going to be wrapping up our 4-video series where we're going through the GMAT journey with Matt. Now, Matt's utilizing a Veritas Prep live online 6-week GMAT prep course, and we started this process before Matt had even begun the Veritas prep course. So interview 1, which there's links below this, you can find interviews 1, 2, and 3 below this one, but essentially in interview 1 we discussed what his expectations were and things like that, and then we touched base with Matt at the 3-week point, so the halfway point within his 6-week course, and then we also touched base with Matt after the 6-week course. And now in this 4th video we're touching base with Matt after he took the GMAT. And so it's going to be interesting to see what Matt thinks about the course and how it prepared him for the actual GMAT, and just essentially what his overall thoughts are. So we're excited to bring Matt back and conclude this 4-video series. So essentially let's jump right into it. Alright Matt, welcome back on here. I can't tell you how excited I am to have you back. All your great insight is extremely beneficial to our viewers, and so let's just go ahead and get right into it. But before we get into whether or not you reached your score goal, can you please tell us what you thought of the official GMAT?
It was a lot harder than I expected, to be honest. Some general nervousness on the day of the test probably made it seem a little harder. But even with all the preparation, it was a lot harder than I expected.
Honestly, if you would have come back and said anything else, I would have questioned the response. Just about everybody has this response to this question. After they get done taking the official GMAT, it always seems so much harder than what they had originally anticipated. And for those of you folks out there who this might be the first interview that you're watching, we've touched on this before, but it's a great point to reiterate. Matt is an extremely intelligent individual. We've known Matt for a long time, and I say that with confidence. He really is an extremely intelligent person. And so if he's telling you that it was more difficult than what he anticipated, you really have to take that, as really good advice from somebody who's been in the trenches, essentially. So that's, again, why it's so important to try and consider taking a prep course and not trying to self-prep. This exam is not something that is easily done or achieved, through just putting in the minimal amount of work. You really have to go after it, and a part of that is signing up for a prep course. So just wanted to throw that out there and keep that in mind as we go through this interview. So let's go ahead and move on to question 2. So Matt, you had a couple weeks between the time when you actually finished the prep course and when you were taking the official GMAT. Now, do you think that 2 weeks was an adequate amount of time for you to prepare and go over everything again before taking the GMAT? Or would you recommend that someone should take a little bit longer than 2 weeks? What would that time period be that you would recommend?
Well, now that I've taken it and I only had the 2 weeks to study, I don't think it was enough at all. The time that I had, only the 2 weeks, was probably my biggest shortcoming on the GMAT. I would recommend at least 2 months just to fully digest all the information you relearned and all the strategies they taught you. Would probably be the best. But I think 2 weeks wasn't enough. 2 months would probably be good.
Yeah, thanks for being honest with that answer. Overall, though, and disregarding how much time you had to prepare after the prep course had concluded, do you think that the Veritas prep course prepared you well for what was tested on the GMAT?
Yeah, I definitely felt like I had the right content knowledge and the appropriate strategies to get the GMAT, to get my goal in the GMAT. I don't think I would have even got to 500 without the Veritas review course, to be honest with you. I felt like I had all the right strategies and the right knowledge. I just didn't have enough time on the back end to really review and get back up to speed with everything.
Well, that's great to hear that you think that you had all the knowledge and the strategies that you would have needed to do well on the GMAT. It just really sounds like you feel like you didn't give yourself enough time between when the prep course concluded and when you had to take the actual GMAT. And so that's good news for all of you who are considering Veritas Prep, as your prep course provider. From what Matt's saying, they definitely gave him everything that he needed to know. Essentially, what might have been the downfall of him achieving his goal was essentially the time that was, between when he finished the prep course and when he was taking the official GMAT. So just to remind everybody, Matt, your goal on the GMAT was to score between a 650 and a 750. And so now, the question everybody's been asking for, did you achieve your goal?
Unfortunately, I did fall a little short of my goal. I didn't do terrible, but I definitely I fell short of my goal I originally set of the 650 to 750.
Well, so now that you've had a few days to reflect on your exam and just the entire process overall, are there other things, aside from what we just talked about in terms of the preparation, between when the prep course wraps up and when you take the official GMAT, that you would attribute this, lack of achieving your goal to?
I would attribute my shortcoming to the amount of time I had at the end of the review course and the GMAT, not taking enough time to go back over everything.
All right, so it sounds like no other major contributing factors, and that's good for everybody to take note of. Definitely give yourself enough time between when that prep course ends and when you're taking your official GMAT. Let's learn from, what's happened here with Matt, so that none of you guys make that mistake in the future. So that being said, what's your plan going forward, Matt?
Well, I definitely scored high enough to get into the MBA program that I wanted to get into, so I'm going to do that. I think farther down the road, I may take another go at the GMAT and see if I can score high enough to get into PhD school.
That's excellent, Matt. It's so great to hear that you did get into the program of your choice. Matt, didn't really want to say what program it is specifically that he got into, but, we will throw this out there that he got into an extremely highly regarded MBA program. Every single person that's listening to this would recognize it and would be extremely happy to get accepted to this MBA program. So Veritas Prep, definitely helped him achieve his goals and get into that program, and it's just going to further his career. And we're also extremely excited to hear, that you still have sights, for your future to maybe try and take another go at this GMAT and go for a PhD. So Matt, ultimately, what advice would you give people who are getting ready to start their GMAT process?
Find a good review course. The GMAT is sneaky and it likes to test you in puzzles. Because of that, you got to put in a lot of good quality review time. So I definitely think a review course is a must. Obviously, I would highly recommend the Veritas review course, but it's definitely something that you're going to need, something that will push you and give you the ability to put in the quality time. It's not something that you can just wing.
And that's excellent advice. You actually got into my next question, which was going to be, would you recommend the Veritas prep course, now that we've gone full circle in this process? It sounded like from that previous answer that you definitely would recommend it. What are your 3 leading factors in that recommendation?
Well, number one, they have very passionate, energetic, just great instructors. Number 2, it's a very high quality learning environment. It's really unlike any other internet-based learning I've ever experienced. And number 3, they've organized everything for your learning to be very, very efficient with the skill builders and just the way they've structured the program.
Thank you for taking us through those, Matt. Your insight is extremely beneficial to everybody viewing this. And in general, just thanks so much for the time spent, going through this process, the 4 video series with us. We greatly appreciate it. And, we wish you the best of luck, as you move forward in your career. And just overall, thanks. We can't tell you how much we appreciate you being here and doing this for everybody.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Well, everybody, that is a wrap on this 4 video GMAT journey series with Matt. We can't tell you how much fun we've had doing it, and we hope you guys have enjoyed it as well. As always, please remember to utilize our social media buttons to like and share this with your friends and family. They might be looking for test prep just like you. Also, be sure and check out the forums. It's a great place for you to ask questions within the community. Also, we have a dedicated discount page for the GMAT prep courses, so you can find all the best GMAT prep course discounts on the market. Veritas Prep is out there. I think the current offering for them is $100 off a live GMAT prep course. And so be sure to check that out, take advantage of it. And in general, we can't wait to have you back. Be sure to check out our future videos. Thanks, guys.